totally free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline. Very,
I hope I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Terry Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. And this morning, I'd like to excuse myself if I hiccup a ton throughout this episode. I am very sorry, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to get through it regardless. I'm not going to let some hiccups keep me from making the show's episode, but I can absolutely not shake these hiccups. Very, very frustrating, but that's okay. And this morning's show topic, good morning. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning as we have a really fun episode with. Sorry, I have some of my banners down on here. And that will be 7 tips for when we feel overwhelmed. I'd be lying if I said I haven't been feeling overwhelmed myself lately. I've been having some things pick up and some opportunities pick up for my real estate stuff. And whenever that happens, then my coaching tends to suffer a little bit, and I'm trying to develop this new course and I'm trying to get the pieces down. I'm also working, I'm helping out with my family stuff, and I've just been talking and hanging out with family a ton lately, and just relationships and running around in general, right? So man, it's been I'd be lying to say it hasn't been tough. Just trying to overcome the resistance and the feeling is when you do feel overwhelmed is one of the heaviest weights and toughest things that we ever go through. You always hear, oh, life, it's going to have its ups and downs. And you would say, yeah, life does have its ups and downs. And then they're going to say, if you want to achieve great things, you're going to have to overcome great feats. And you're thinking, yeah. And you're going to be willing to do it. You're going to actually want to overcome these tough times. And then I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. That's, people grow in discomfort. People grow when they feel pain. It's good for you to be ruffling your feathers and all that. And then you actually get there and you're like, what the fuck is going on? I'm tired of dealing with this. How long does this take? And all this crazy stuff back and forth. So it's always wild to me how we have to continue to shift, continue to enjoy, and continue to not get so caught up with some of the biggest parts of suffering, such as worrying about the future. I'm worrying about my businesses. That's what I worry about more than anything. I have my health. I have a good family. I have great friends. But for some reason, just the worry about the future, they're not handling things or not taking action on the things that I want to do, this hesitation makes me personally feel very overwhelmed. I'm sure you can think of your own category of something in your life that you're working on or working towards, and you can sometimes feel almost frozen because it's like, damn, I'm just handling what I perceive as a lot of pain right now. So hopefully to help with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through 7 talking points. Oh, shoot. I have the wrong one up. Okay. We're going to go ahead. We're going to run through 7 of these tips and tricks and ideas for ourselves to help when we feel overwhelmed. Tip number 1 is prioritize and organize. prioritize and organize. This is something that can be very difficult and something that I've screwed up with multiple times in the past, and go figure, it causes me a lot of pain. When it comes to just having a lot to do, a lot of times I will pick something that I know isn't the most important task for me personally. What I truly know is my number one goal. Maybe that for you is, I always use the exercise example. You'll hear me do it a million more times because that one has a ton of resistance. It's really hard to do to stay in shape over long periods of time. I thankfully haven't had too much of an issue with that, but working with people more, it seems like health and fitness is definitely really tough to keep up with. But so say maybe you're having a tough time keep up with fitness, and sorry, I'm so distracted because of my hiccups, but I'm trying to keep sharp, baby. What are you gonna do when I'm giving a big speech or something like that? I still got to show up, right? So if I have fitness and I know that's my number one goal, then I'll work on a bunch of small little things on the side just to distract myself from the number one goal. For me, that is, I will go work on my rental property portfolio so I can avoid the really hard tasks of creating the course content and finishing up the course content, making tutorial videos, making all of these extra documents for my clients to enhance their experience, to increase the value that our company offers. And I will escape that by going and working. Maybe it's mowing the yards in rentals. Maybe it's going and working on a side project. Maybe I'm going and picking up and reading a book. So really making sure that the point of this is, when you start to feel overwhelmed, go over your list again of what your top priorities are. And if you have more than 3 priorities, you do not have any priorities at all. That's pulled from Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. Fantastic. Absolutely recommend it. So tip number 1, when you're feeling overwhelmed, it is to prioritize and organize your personal space, the space that you're working in, and also just getting one little thing done for the number 1 priority on your goal, I promise will make you feel better. Number 2, ask for help. Delegate. I paid $100 to get a couple of my yards mowed at some of our rental properties, because my girlfriend and I, we usually do all of that stuff, but I have a lot going on. I had to go mow at my mom's, and I had to mow yards here, and they're not like little tiny city yards. So there's some stuff that needs to get done. And then after that, I'm like, man, screw this. I'm not even feeling like doing that. I still have my coaching stuff to work. I had 50 emails to reply to. I had interviews to follow up. I had interviews to record. And I was like, dude, I am not mowing yards. 2 more yards right now. I've already been outside for like 6 hours. Not doing that right now. Just pay somebody. And I just sucked it up and paid somebody. I'm unfortunately, one of my qualities I'm really trying to work on is I'm really cheap. I don't want to spend money on stuff if I don't feel like I have to. But if you're in business and you want to grow and you have to expand, like, you have to have people helping you out. You have to delegate. And as right now, I'm a 1-person business, and then I contract and I freelance everything else out in my businesses to other 1-person businesses or other companies, or whatever suits my needs for that task. But I'm really starting to try and embrace asking for help and delegating tasks that are in alignment, so I can still get done what it is I need to do today. I'm definitely feeling like I'm spreading myself too thin lately, and I'm just not making enough progress on the things that I really want to work on and get done. And so by the time that time comes, I'm too tired to keep going. So the next one up is self-care. Sorry, I have to kind of recopy these. Some of my banners got messed up. So tip number 3 is self-care. Cut. Tip number 3 is self-care. So when you are feeling overwhelmed, having some type of self-care is very, very helpful. And you can do this in the form of exercise. You can do this in the form of what I highly, highly encourage is some form of meditation. Maybe you're going out and you're looking at the mountains. Maybe you're going out and you're just looking at the trees, or you're going out and you're watching the water flow in the river. Whatever it is, you're just listening to the birds, or you're just paying attention to your breath, the air coming in and the air coming out, and you're being very mindful. Some type of self-care, because all of the suffering that we are going through, when you are feeling these overwhelmed, when you are feeling overwhelmed, it's usually from a thought, and then that thought creates a feeling, when it should be your feelings and your emotions should drive the other way around. So don't get too caught up in your thoughts. And I think some type of self-care is very therapeutic with helping with this. And 2 examples that always come to mind is maybe it is mowing the yard, maybe just getting outside and just doing something productive and focusing on it. Or maybe it's going to the gym and exercising your body and really focusing on the movements of your muscle and on your body, or just paying attention to the breath. Focus and attention. Self-care is when you are in the present moment, or something that's going to help you pull into the present moment. Self-care. Okay. Next up is setting realistic goals. Realistic goals. Number 4. Number 4 on our list. Number 4 on our list. 4 tips to overcome feeling overwhelmed is setting realistic goals. And goal setting is, after reading a dozen books on it, working with hundreds of people on setting goals and kind of moving around, that's the meat and potatoes of my business, is realistic goal setting. You don't want to set a goal too small, because I used to always think like, oh, just get started, just write one word. Oh, just read one word out of a book, read one page. And that works a little bit to get you going, but it never, for me personally, I'm only speaking from personal experience. There's a million different ways to hit your goals and do them. For me, when the goal was too tiny, I never was consistent enough, because it wasn't satisfying to me that I felt like I got anything done. It's like, okay, I wrote one sentence for my book. That didn't give me the pleasure and the satisfaction of getting done enough to where I felt like I made real progress on it. But I don't want it to be astronomical. I was doing this writing challenge where I was writing 1,000 words every single day. And I did it for 40 days. And then after that, I couldn't even look at writing. I was so disgusted by it. I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to do it. I wanted nothing to do with it. And it kind of burnt me out on it. So we don't want our goals to be too small to where it's not motivating or inspiring with the progress that we're making. But you don't want to make them so big that it's just, you're never going to get close and you're not going to have any milestones on the way. So setting realistic goals, thinking to yourself, okay, what is something that would cause me to be a little uncomfortable today? Something that would cause me to stretch myself a little bit better, something that could push me but not break me. And this is tough, because sometimes it feels like I'm either being a bit of a baby on, like, I can handle way too much, but then we don't want to invoke something of making ourselves feel overwhelmed. So trying to be brutally honest in your own situation of like, okay, what do you think you can really get done today? What do you really want to get done today? And what makes sense to you in alignment with your goals and with our priorities and what we've organized and other points that we talked about. So realistic goals, aim for a goal somewhere in the middle, and play around with this. Try and write them down, try and measure them in some way. You can't manage anything you don't measure. So try and get your realistic goals down, kind of see what that looks like to you and play around with that. Okay, tip number 5 would be time management. Time management. Tip number 5, time management. Time management is, well, that's all we really got is time, right? So a lot of people can make that argument. I would stand right alongside with them. Time management. Where is your time going? For me recently, I have a goal for like 30 days. I'm not looking at my cell phone. I'm not looking at social media apps. I'm not looking on my phone. I manage social media stuff on through my computer. I don't get sidetracked on the computer like I do on my cell phone. I'll just doom scroll. I'll just watch random YouTube videos, and I'm done giving my time to that. I was on pace to give over 1,000 hours this year to my phone, to my screen time. That's I don't think that's fair to me, and I don't think that's fair to my goals. I don't think that's fair for what I truly want. So that's one thing with time management, is just really trying to figure out, where is your time actually going? Like, where is it actually going? We have so much time, 24 hours in a day, dude. You can get so much done. I've there I went to the seminar, and these guys were building out these companies, and they had to do that in went 24 hours, and I was blown. They've reached out to more people about their business and what they're doing more in 20 they did it more in 24 hours than I have in the last 2-3 years of my life. And it just proves to me, and it doesn't show that I'm inadequate or I'm a loser. I'm bad at business, versus just the fact that you can do so much more with your time if the intentionality is right. If, like in our first tip, prioritize and organize, if things are properly organized along those things. So time management, I say that to just try out, where are you giving your time? Where is your time going? And then that leads us into my next point that I really like, that the billionaires say this is the secret to life. Learn to say no. Learning to say no. I hear is the secret nectar to life. Billionaires, if you look at, they say no to everything. Everything. Whether it's these new fads, whether it's these like certain get rich quick schemes, or whether it's just people trying to take up their time. When you can say no to the things that are not in alignment with what you want out of life, you give yourself a superpower that makes you untouchable, and nearly guarantees your success. But the hard part is, we feel like we're missing out when we decide on the one thing that we really want. Or this is how I feel about it. I feel like when I say yes to just this one, so one of my goals is to create a certain volume with my coaching business. That is my number one goal, is to get my coaching business through a certain number of volume and helping a certain number of people. That's my number one goal. And learning to say no to everything else outside of that would raise the probability so dramatically that I'd be guaranteed success. But do I do it? I would say no. I was just mowing over at, I mowed at my mom's house. She's got a big yard. I was mowing over here at our house. I'm saying yes to a lot of things that are not in alignment with my number one goal. So that's going to make me feel a little bit overwhelmed. It gives my life balance. Yes, it gives my life balance. However, you need to understand that I don't want to say you need to understand. I'm saying I need to understand, because I'm learning this stuff too. I need to understand that if what I care about most is that number one goal, and I'm saying yes to other things, then this number one goal is going to take more time. It's not going to just happen in a flash, and that's okay. So learning to make peace with that, to breathe, and acknowledge that that's okay. That's the pace I'm taking. That's the pace that I'm okay with. And I'm going to continue to say no to other things that aren't extremely valuable to what it is that I want. So, and we're not going to be perfect at this right off the bat. I just gave off a handful of examples of things that I should say no to, but I'm going to continue to say yes to because it gives me a little more balance in my life. But there's a long list of things. I'm also being really hard on myself this episode. I'd like to think things are going in a really good direction, but for clarity's sake, the like it's going in a good direction. It's just things can improve and I could probably enjoy it and I wouldn't feel as overwhelmed if I found peace. And then there was some side things like saying no to my cell phone. That's a big victory for me. For me, looking at that damn cell phone makes me sad. It really does. And they're like, oh, Tanner, you're being dramatic. Scrolling social media doesn't make you sad. It's like, dude, it makes me sad. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like a fog or a glaze or something like that. Makes me feel numb and makes me not want to take action on things. Makes me feel like I'm behind everyone, and it's just not good. So I don't get the max benefits out of it when I look at it too much versus when I barely ever look at it like once a month, then where I just like handle my stuff on work on my computer and I'm only seeing stuff that's related to my work, then that makes me feel okay and feel pretty good. So, but you got to find out what your balance is. What do you need to say no to so you can start saying yes to? Something that I really hope I can really anchor down is helping people continue to quit things, giving up alcohol for 100 days or giving up my cell phone for 100 days, just kind of doing this 100-day series of getting rid of the toxic things in my life to make me appreciate them for what they really are. I feel like I have a much better appreciation for alcohol now that I was able to say no to it. I have a much better appreciation for social media apps as it's like, I think like this is, well, it's pretty early on. I think it's only like day 4 where I'm like shunning any type of scrolling or any type of educational content, anything on that cell phone that is not a text message or a call for work or my family, like work, family, or friends. And like, it's just absolutely no way to go. So, and that leads us to our last one. So learning to say no is absolutely crucial. And then this one gets to our last one. This is similar to prioritization. Evaluate your commitments. Evaluate your commitments. What are you committed to? What are you committed to? I have a number of commitments, and one of them is a handful of rental properties in this area. And I'm trying to sell these suckers and buy a property out in Colorado. That's I'm really evaluating my commitments. I'm giving a lot of time to the properties, a lot of headache, a lot of overwhelming feeling, and it's making me really evaluate. It's like, what is the end goal here? And my goal is always to play Monopoly, to have buy properties, sell them, get nicer properties, roll them over 1031 exchanges so I can dodge tax it. The word dodge is probably strong for the IRS, don't come after me, but legally you can sell a property, and if you claim intentions to another property within 6 to 12 months, then you can roll it over and then you don't have to pay capital gains tax. So that's totally illegal and part of my plan and part of what I want to do, but it's really been making me think about my commitments in general. My commitments, I'm just not working a full day on my dream business, and not being committed to that makes me feel sad. But I also need to, I'm in this hustle phase to where I need to get my ducks in a row. I need to be kind of allocating my capital properly so I don't go belly up and have to lose everything in terrible organic fashion. I think being an entrepreneur can be a brutal balance, but that's also part of why the payoff is so big and so good. I truly believe I have the potential to bring lots of great wealth to my family, to my friends, and like bring a lot of fun experiences to the table. But there's going to be some bumpy roads, and I'm probably going to have to work a few extra hours and this and that. And if I were to talk to my older self I always like going like 20 years out, 20 years to your elder. So for me, that'd be someone who's about 50 years old and saying, like, hey, man, am I doing the right thing? Is this going the way I'd want to? And I could honestly answer that, yeah, I would say yes. So I think evaluating your commitments, and maybe your commitment says, like, hey, maybe you should lay off of this until you get that done. It's okay to put things away or to the side until a later date when it's more appropriate. It's just being very honest with yourself of what do you really want and how do you want to go about it. So evaluating our commitments is our last one. We went really long today. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Started at 8 a.m., kind of rolling through. And so, quick little recap for my video editor. Tip number 1, prioritize and organize. That helps with feeling overwhelmed. Next, ask for help. Next, self-care. Number 3. Number 4, setting realistic goals somewhere in the middle, not too small, not too big. Time management. Where is your time actually going? Learn to say no to the things that are not in alignment with what we really want out of life. And also evaluate your commitments. Number 7. So I hope these were helpful. These were tips, tricks, and ideas on how to overcome feeling overwhelmed. I honestly already feel better from talking to you guys about it. So I know I can feel very overwhelmed sometimes, and it feels like this unbearable weight. And then I don't want to take action on absolutely anything, and that is not good. So we want to continue to help, prepare. And I think my favorite one that I'm really trying to focus on is, oh gosh, there's so many, so good ones, so good. But if you, I'm going to go ahead and I got to go meditate a little bit before some of my coaching sessions. I hope you guys have an incredible day. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you need a coach for your personal or professional journey, I have a 6-week course that is absolutely life-changing, guaranteed, or your money back. You get $1 million in value or your money back, guaranteed. It has changed my life. If anyone knew me just a couple years ago, I think they would agree that I have completely changed tenfold. So I'd like to do the same for you. If you're trying to accomplish, build businesses, if you're trying to improve yourself, get jacked, all that fun stuff while being zen along the way to enjoy your journey to success, I'm here for you as a coach. Other than that, I will be back here live with another episode May 17th, 8 a.m. as we go over this, how to pick a market. I think that'll be a fun episode. It's like demographics, market, a little bit more on economics for tomorrow's self. So check this out. Hope you guys have a good one and have an incredible day. And in case you needed to hear it, I love you. Have an awesome day. Get something done that's productive and in alignment with what it is you want to do. Until next time, you guys, if you really enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're seeing this on a different social media, or share this content to help other people view it. It helps with the algorithm and it means the world to me. Thanks again so much, everyone. Have an incredible, incredible day. Cheers to you all. And I'll see you on the next episode. Episode 275. 275 of these suckers down and out. Keeping it rolling. Road to 1,000. Don't sweat it. We'll be back. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.